Hello. Okay. All right. I've created all the breakout rooms. But again, before we go there, I have some more information for you. First of all, I put a document. Let me share my screen. I put a document. Okay. Yeah. So those of you who were not able to make it yesterday, much of what I said yesterday will be covered today in what we go over. So hang in there. Now let's see, share my screen. Okay. So there is a shared document now that you should have gotten an email about earlier today entitled the SciOlympiad Student Reference Guide. Now SciOlympiad, you know, it's nothing new really. It's just the site that all the online tournaments are going through, okay, to deliver their Science Olympiad tournaments, or the test and the tournament. Okay, so what you'll need to do is to go to the SciOlympiad site. Now I'll show you how to do that in a second. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you that there is, you know, again, some useful information here that answers a lot of questions that we've had that up to now have gone unanswered. Partners will take the same test from their own computers. Now remember that we have two teams, okay? We have a team 1 and a team 2. So let me go back to that list. Okay, so this document also, this spreadsheet here is also shared, so anybody can look at it. And you'll see that in the column, the blue column, we have team 1, and in the green column, we have team 2. So each event is only going to have 2 people from each team in it. All right. So I think last time I gave the first example. So let's do the last example. In water quality, Andrew and Nachiket will be able to chat with each other during the test. Kate and Alexandra will be able to chat with each other during the test, but they will not be able to communicate between teams. In other words, Andrew and Kate, or Andrew cannot communicate with Kate or Alexandra. Kate cannot communicate with Andrew or Nachiket, and so on. Okay, so
how do you communicate with each other?
Through a chat. So here, built in. So that's the next item on the list. Okay, or actually, it's the third item. The second item is that you'll see each other's answers as you work on a single test. Okay, so it'll be, I think, kind of like working on a shared Google document, right, where you actually see the changes happening as they're happening. There are, so for multiple choice questions, and a lot of these are multiple choice, that's pretty easy. But for something where you have to type your answer, if you're both trying to type at the same time, then whoever clicks outside of the text box that you're typing in first, that person's answers will be saved, and the other person's answers will not be. All right, they'll be erased. So make sure that only one person at a time, if you're typing in, text in a text box on the test, that only one of you is doing that at a time. Otherwise, it could overwrite, or it could end up not saving, okay, what one of you is typing. Okay, so the third thing is the answer to that last question. There's a text-based chat for partners to discuss their answers. Okay, so as you're working on the test together, you can chat back and forth just like you do in Zoom. Okay, just like we do here. Whoops. Okay. Oh yeah, I can't look at chat right now. All right, so there's also an option for you to ask the event supervisor question. So if there's something that comes up, that you have an issue with a question, like it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't seem, let's say there's an error in it, or it seems to be from a different test, maybe a different topic or something like that, you can actually text or chat with the event supervisor during the test too. So, hopefully we won't have to use that. I mean, I think the Harvard people are going to have their tests pretty well wired and error free, but you never know, things can happen. So there are timers that'll show you how much time is left, and you will not have to be, next to each other in the same room while you're taking these tests, obviously, if you're going to be chatting with each other by text. I suppose you can't be. There's certainly no reason not to be, but you don't have to be. And well, actually, I guess there is a reason not to be, because if you have a next, event in the next time slot, you would have to get somewhere else to take that test. So anyway, so it's up to you. If you can work it out where you can be, at your computer with your partner, during the test, like physically in the same room, that's okay with me. I would recommend against it just for, just for safety's sake, and because even though the vaccines are out, we still are dealing with the virus. So I wouldn't really encourage you to be physically together, but if you and your parents work it out where you can be together in person with your partner, I won't get in the way of that, okay? But I would recommend against it. So as you're taking the test, you'll see a timer in the upper right corner, and if you're in two different locations, you'll each see that same timer, even if you don't start the test at the same time. Well, let's say for some reason one of the two partners on one of the tests is late, 5 minutes late. Well, when that late partner logs in, 5 minutes will already be showing up on the timer. Does that make sense? Because the person who wasn't late would have started it 5 minutes earlier. So you'll both see the same time left, no matter when you start, no matter when each of you starts, okay? You'll both see the same timer. And then the answers are saved automatically. So that's just like a Google document, right? You don't have to click save or anything. It just saves automatically. The only thing to note about that is that when you're typing an answer in a text box, you have to click outside of that text box in order for it to save your answer, okay? So if you're typing something really long, you probably want to click outside of the text box fairly often. Okay, so how do I know these things? How do I know these details? Well, because I watched a video, and we're going to watch portions of that video, and I will make the link available to you. I think yesterday I said I wasn't sure if I wanted you guys to watch it because it might cause undue stress or confusion. but I think it'll be good for you to watch because it does give you a a firsthand look at what the test is actually going to look like. Okay, so what will you need to take these tests? You'll need a good browser. All the common ones have been working fine. So if you think that you have a browser that's sort of out of date, or you're not quite sure, might need an upgrade or an update rather, then maybe have a couple different browsers. Maybe have Google Chrome and Firefox, or Safari and I don't know. Does Google Chrome work on an iPad or work on an Apple computer?
It does. I'm using it right now.
Oh, excellent. Okay. All right. So it's never a bad idea to have, a couple different browsers on your computer in case one doesn't work. You can try switching to another one. Okay. So again, I don't think these things are going to be very common. I don't think, but with an totally online system, usually, well, I don't know about usually, but often you do run into problems. So just don't sweat it. Okay. I mean, remember that overall, this is a no stress test. This is practice. We want to do well. Okay. We want to do as well as we possibly can. Ideally, we'd like to do better than our Rhode Island state competitors in this competition. So we're going to give it our best, and we're going to give everything we can to try and make that happen. All right, but I don't want anybody to get too overly worried about if something goes wrong, okay, or worried about the possibility of something going wrong. If it happens, it happens, and it's just something that we'll learn from. Also, if it's something, let's say that your internet goes out all of a sudden, and it's just, I don't know, through no fault of your own, your cat chewed through the internet cable or something. That would be a heck of a chew. But let's say something like that happens, that your internet goes out. You can actually later on, well, you can tell me about it, of course. But then later on, we can request extra time for you to go back and finish the exam, okay, if that does happen to you. All right, so even if something does go wrong, we'll most likely have a chance to fix it. All right, so a lot of what is on here is actually covered in that video that I want you guys to watch. And I'm going to start showing it to you tonight, but we're not going to be able to go through the whole thing. It's like half an hour long. Well, longer than half an hour. But there is one other thing I wanted to point out to you. There are a couple different ways to log in. Okay, and I mentioned this last time, but I wasn't really clear on exactly how it would work. You can log in either with a login ID or with your email. Now, logging in with email, especially with your school email, is kind of risky. The reason I say that is that schools often put restrictions on email, communication and what information can be conveyed over email. So it's very possible that if you try and use your email to log in to the SciOlympiad site, that something's going to get blocked. Okay, something's not going to quite work the way it's supposed to. So instead, I'm going to send you your login ID. Now, I thought I could choose your login IDs for you, and that's what I was saying yesterday. I think I can. I'm pretty sure I can do that. I can make your login ID whatever I want. That's not true. Okay, I found out today that your login IDs are actually automatically assigned. And let's see if I can show you. I don't know if I still have that up. If I do, it would be here. No, I guess I don't. Okay. All right, just a minute.
So what are these login IDs used for?
They're what you're going to log in to the SciOlympiad site. Okay. So let me just show you. You're going to actually on another document, which I'm going to post later tonight, there will be a direct link. And that's the one here that is specific to the Harvard Brown Science Olympiad Invitational. Okay. So I'll post this one, and you can see on this one, there's a link right to the SciOlympiad site for this competition. Now, SciOlympiad has many, many competitions. So if I click on this, just the SciOlympiad site, okay, you'll see there's find your tournament, and you'll see how many tournaments there are on here. So you have two ways to go. You can either go to the SciOlympiad.com, just type that into a browser, and then click find your tournament. And right now you can probably see that it is organized or sorted by competition date. Okay, so if we scroll down a bit, we get eventually to January. Here we are, January 2021. And as we know, as hopefully we all know by now, our tournament is happening on the 31st. Okay, so we would scroll down to 01/31/21, and you see it's right there, the Harvard Brown Science Olympiad Tournament B. Okay, so we could click that. That's one way to do it. Or like I said, I'm going to also share this document later tonight, and you can click on this link here. All right. So, and what you do now, this is a little bit weird. It's a little bit unclear why they did it this way, but the way that you initially log in, and you can see that I'm not logged in right now, but you'll log in using this green button. Okay, take test using login ID. Now, you know, the button's not named correctly. You're not actually going to be taking a test. It's going to show that tests aren't available yet. Okay, but for whatever reason, this is how they've chosen to have you create your account, or log into your account rather, on SciOlympiad. All right. So I've already put all you guys into the SciOlympiad site. You're all in there already, and I've got your login ID. So I just need to give them to you. Okay. So once I do that, you would click here, then you'd put in your login ID. And if it's the first time you're logging in, which it will be, you will create a password. And I think it'll also ask you for your first and last name. Okay. Now for me, if I just want to log in, then I'm going to do that here. Whoops. As a coach, I have a different login interface. Okay. But so this is my head coach dashboard here, and I'm going to go to our roster and show you where I'm going to get your login ID numbers from. Okay. Here it is. So this is the student team event assignment page that only coaches have access to. You guys don't have access to this. Okay, and you'll see here there is a column labeled login ID. So Neil, you're first on the list there. Your login ID is 1019W2. Okay, and then Remy, you're the second on the list. Yours be 1019W4. Okay, so you can see everybody on the team has a six-character login ID. So that's what you want to use to log into the site. Because like I said, if you log in with your email, you're almost certainly going to run into restrictions that are put in place by the school. Okay, so instead you want to log in with your ID. And again, I'll send you those. But let's see, who's got 25 participants here. Okay, that's great. So it's probably a good idea. Let's see, how can I get that list of participants? Okay, everybody here, write down your login ID. And I know that some of you are off screen here.
So what do we do for our password?
You'll be able to set that. You'll be able to set it. Now, if you forget it, you can tell me, and you can see here, I've got an option to reset your password. Okay, so if you forget what your password is, email me and I can reset it for you. Okay, but you can't reset it for yourself. All right, so let's see, hold on a sec. I think I can export this to Excel, maybe.
Wait, so are you gonna send like an email with all this information to us?
Yeah, well, all the information is going to be on the documents that I'm sharing. Okay, the one that I showed you a second ago, this one. Okay, so you would click here and then click on the green button. So everything I'm telling you here is outlined on this document. And then it'll take you to a login ID and it'll ask you, since it'll be the first time you're logging in, it will ask you for your first and last name, and then you'll make up a password, all right? And then sign in, okay? And then when you do that, you'll see your events. You'll see the events that you've been assigned to, okay? So I'm just showing you the interface that I have, and I can assign students to events, and I've done that. Okay, so here are all the events listed across the top, and then I just check the boxes for each person, the 2 or 3 events that each person is doing for each team, okay? So we've got that, but I wanna get you guys your login ID. So I can either email each one of you your ID, or you can write it down now. And so that's what I'd prefer, if you write it down now. Let's see.
You scroll down a little.
Yeah, I can, but let's see. Maybe I can, hold on a sec. I thought there was a way to get this to Excel. No, I guess not. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, I can't open the whole thing all at once. So let's see. Neil, let me know when you have yours.
I already have mine.
Okay. Remy, do you have yours?
What?
Do you have your login ID? Can you write it down?
What is it?
It's the login ID. So yours is right here. Are you looking at my shared screen? I just highlighted your login ID for you.
All right, but like I can't get into the website for some reason. It's blocked for me.
Okay. Well, we'll take care of that in a minute. Okay. But
All
write
right.
down your login ID first. Okay.
All right.
You got it?
Hold on. I need to get a good pencil.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, Ben, do you have yours?
Yeah, I took a screenshot of it.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. Who's next? Amelia, do you have your login ID? Amelia, are you here? Okay, maybe not. Gianni, do you have yours? Gianni, are you here? Okay. Okay, Remy, did you get yours?
Yes.
Great. Okay, Andrew, did you get yours?
I did.
Great. Aiden, you have yours?
Yes.
Okay. Huniksha, you have yours?
Yes.
Okay. Julia, do you have yours? Julia? Okay. Here, Athena, do you have yours?
I have mine and I've signed in.
I'm sorry?
I've signed into the.
Oh, you did. Okay, great. Okay. And did you use Athena for your first name?
Yes.
Okay, good, because that's how I have you listed there, obviously. Okay, Sophia, do you have your login ID?
Yes.
Okay, now I want to point out, Sophia, you see how that last character there is rounder, right? Than this round character.
So it's an O?
Yeah, exactly. That's an O. It's not a 0. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Mie, do you have yours? Mie? All right. Nitya, do you have your ID?
Yeah.
Okay, and Thaja, do you have yours?
Yes.
Great. All right, now we can scroll down. Sana, do you have your ID?
No, not yet.
Okay, do you see it there on screen? Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
1019WQ, right? All right, Sid, do you have your ID?
I do. How do we sign in again? What's the password?
You make up a password the first time you sign in.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Noah, do you have your ID? Noah?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Cameron, do you have yours?
Yes.
Okay. Rowan, do you have your ID?
Yes.
All right. Gabrielle, do you have yours? Gabrielle, do you have your ID?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. Emma, do you have your ID?
Yes, I do.
Great. Okay, Nachiket, do you have yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Nachiket, again, you have a round character at the end, but see, yours is the same as the first one, so yours is a 0. Yours is 1019x0, okay? You got it, bud?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Kate, do you have your ID?
Yes.
Great. Alex, do you have yours? Alex, are you there? Okay. Sean, do you have your ID? Sean, are you with us? Okay. All right. Ryland, do you have yours?
No.
Okay, here it is. See it highlighted there?
Yeah, but it's really
Oh, it's hard to see.
really hard.
It's 1019WV.
101. What was it?
1019 W as in water, V as in vehicle.
Okay, I got
Okay.
it.
1019WV. Alan, do you have yours?
Could you just read mine out so
Sure
I
thing.
can make sure?
Yep, 1019WH. Okay,
Yep, I got it.
great. Iris, do you have yours?
Yes.
Okay. Rahul, do you have your ID?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, now the others are alternates. So may or may not be here. Xavier, are you here? Okay, Harrison? No. Molly? Okay, Owen? And Sarah. Okay, no, none of the alternates are here. Okay. All right, so that's it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who I need to email their IDs, but everybody else, you should have yours. All right, so let's see, 4:58. We're gonna run out of time in about 10 minutes. All right. So let's just go through this document a little bit, which I haven't shared yet, but I'm going to right after we end. And this is the one I posted the other one first because it has a lot of other information. Okay, the one we were looking at originally, the SciOlympiad Student Reference Guide. So it has a lot of information about what to expect from the test and what you should have. But it doesn't, but then when it gets into login ID, it doesn't tell you exactly which tournament to log into. So that would be this document here that will tell you to log into the SciOlympiad.com HUSO-BSO. Okay, so you'll go there, you'll click on the green button that's labeled Take Test using login ID. You'll use that login ID that I just gave you. And you will be able to put in your first and last name and set a password. And some of you may be doing that right now, which is fine. Others, if you want to wait till later, that's fine too. Okay. And then once you do, you'll see your assigned events. And then you'll be able to click on those. And when the tests are available, and as you can see, they're not available here. But when they do become available, you'll be able to click on them. It'll be a clickable link. All right. It'll tell you that start time and end time, and note for our tournament, for the Harvard tournament, that's going to be in Eastern Standard Time. Okay. As far as I know, everybody on the team is in Eastern Standard Time, in the Eastern Standard Time zone. But if you happen to not be, then you want to make sure that your computer has the correct time zone where you are. Okay. Otherwise, it could throw it off. So your computer will know what time zone you're in, or it should. If you have any misgivings about that, any uncertainty about that, let me know and we'll go through it together if you happen to be at a different location on the day of the event. All right. So this tells you, fill in your login ID, make up a password, which you'll be able to do. See your assigned events. I want you to ignore this part, accessing events with email. We're not going to be doing that, okay? Because again, you'll find that certain parts of it are blocked. When you log in, you'll also be able to go to the student dashboard. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, you can get to the student dashboard by going under tournament. Let's go back. Wait a minute. Where am I logged in? Okay, so I'm logged in here. If I go to tournament, yeah, the first item under tournament is student dashboard. Okay, so you'll see that that's on the guide that we were just looking at here under additional features. So you'll be able to go there. If there are any test references like a periodic table or something like that that you'll need for your test, that'll be available on the dashboard. It'll also have links to take the test, on competition day. And then later on, after the competition's over, we'll be able to look at our results and see the graded tests and all that good stuff. Okay, so that'll be the dashboard. Okay. And then that's it. Now the student webinar that's linked here is the one that I watched earlier today, and it is very informative, but it's a little bit confusing. So let me just go to that and watch a little bit of it with you. Hold on a sec.
So after the Harvard Brand Invitational, do we have another competition in June?
It'll be the state competition. Okay, and it will almost certainly be in late March or early April, but that date has not been announced yet.
And are we going to do the same subjects that we were just doing?
Yes. Now the main thing that's different about the state competition is that there will be only one team. Okay, so whereas we have 2 teams of 15 right now, that will become one team. For the state tournament. Now, that doesn't mean that, you should, after the 31st, if you're not on the team for the state tournament, it doesn't mean that you should just, stop coming to the meetings. I hope that you'll still come because you can get, so much more practice and information. I think after this tournament, after the Harvard tournament, though, I am going to go back to just meeting once a week. Okay. Because I don't think we'll need to meet twice a week. Because we're working so hard to get ready for this one, getting ready for the state one, we can space that out a little bit more. Okay. But yeah, the state competition last year, it was supposed to be at the end of March, and everybody, we had everything set. We were ready to go. We had the team, and then the lockdown happened and we didn't get to go. All right. So I think the timing will be similar this year, but the state Science Olympiad organization still has not broadcast or told us what the exact date is going to be. So I don't know yet, but I would imagine it's similar timing, either late March or early April. And then if we win the state competition, then we would go to the national competition, which is I think in May or possibly June. And by then I know that vaccines will be widely distributed, but I kind of doubt that it'll be safe enough to have the tournament in person. So I think the state competition is also going to be online, or the national competition would also be online. So, we'll see what happens. But anybody have any other procedural questions like that? Like, what comes next after this? Okay, so again, this tournament, the Harvard Brown tournament, is we have 2 teams of 15. For the state tournament, we're going to have 1 team of 15. Okay, so so 15 of you who are and you know, I'm not entirely sure who's that's going to be. I mean, some people may want to opt out themselves. So you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I'll be deciding that not immediately after the Harvard Brown tournament, but within, I'd say, 2 weeks after the Harvard Brown tournament, we'll come to our team of 15 that is going to go to the state tournament. So when you click on that other link in this document, this one, the student webinar found here. So if you click on that link, it will take you to this video. Okay. Now, one thing that's really useful in this video is if you go to the settings and you click the playback speed, you make it at least 1.25, maybe even 1.5, although it's a little bit difficult to understand them at 1.5. But that makes it go by a little bit faster if you do 1.25. And it looks like maybe it's not going to work. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the beginning of it just kind of tells you, you know, how many tests they've already done, and how many tournaments they've already had,
Welcome, everyone.
how many teams are in it.
You can't see me, but that's okay. You're looking at the
The rest of it, though, like once they start, or once they get beyond the intro stuff,
and so
then they start talking about, let me forward it a little bit more. Okay. Then they start talking about the SciOlympiad site. Okay. And what the tests are going to be like. So the guy running it actually goes through, he goes into one of the tests that, again, we won't have available yet. But there. Okay. So yeah. So when the test is available, this is what the start screen will look like. And you'll have a green start button for you to get into the test. Okay. Over here, you'll have a chat window. So this is the anatomy and physiology test here. And you can see he's got 2 windows open, simulating 2 people taking the test at the same time. All right. So just one of you can click the, you know, multiple choice questions, and then it will show up on the other one's screen. Over here is where you would chat with each other. The top window is where you chat with each other. The bottom window is where you would chat with the event organizer. Okay. And then he answers some questions at the end. So I'm going to, again, post that. I'm going to post this document, okay, on our shared drive, and I'll send you another email about that. And just remember, at the very end of this document is where the link to that webinar is, okay? And you want to watch that webinar. All right. So that's about it. We are almost out of time. It's going to end in a couple seconds. I'll restart it after it ends. And if anybody wants to go into breakout rooms, I'll set them up for you, okay? But it's going to end here any second now, I think. Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for it to end?
How long's each event?
50 minutes, 50.
I see that you're recording these Zoom meetings. Can we find like the recorded Zoom meeting somewhere?
Yeah. So I am recording this one, and I will I'll post it, and I'll resend the link where you can find it. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Okay.
I have a question.
Next, go ahead.
So in the document